They were outnumbered, outgunned, and surrounded, yet they refused to break. In the early 1990s, as Yugoslavia collapsed into chaos, Croatia was a nation under siege, a country fighting for survival with barely an army to its name. Cities were shelled, borders were torn apart, and the world expected Croatia to fall. But it didn't. From the ashes of that war, Croatia did something few nations in modern Europe have done. It built an army from nothing. And just 3 decades later, that same nation now stands as one of NATO's most valuable and underestimated assets on Europe's southern flank. This is the story of how Croatia went from a war-torn republic to a strategic powerhouse guarding the Adriatic Sea. A story of resilience, reinvention, and quiet military strength. Welcome to Doctrine of War, where we explore how nations turn history into power. Today we're breaking down how Croatia transformed from a shattered state into NATO's Adriatic Defender, a force that quietly anchors the alliance's security in Southeast Europe. Before we dive deeper into this remarkable transformation, take a moment to support the channel. If you enjoy deep, cinematic analyses of global defense, geopolitics, and strategy, make sure to like this video and subscribe. It helps us bring more of these long-form stories to you and keeps Doctrine of War growing into the go-to source for military insight that goes beyond the headlines. Now, let's look at how a country with no army became one of NATO's most reliable soldiers. From resistance to reinvention, the birth of a modern force. When Croatia declared independence in 1991, it had no modern army, just a handful of police units, militias, and scattered weapons. Facing one of Europe's largest military forces at the time, the Yugoslav People's Army, Croatia was forced to learn warfare by living it. In the early days, it was improvisation that kept the nation alive. Civilian trucks turned into armored vehicles, hunting rifles used in battle, and volunteers forming units overnight. But desperation bred innovation. Under leaders like Gajko Susak and General Jenko Bobetko, Croatia organized what would become the Croatian Armed Forces, Hrvatska Vojska or HV. By 1995, after years of attrition, Croatia launched one of the most successful military operations in post-World War II Europe, Operation Storm. In just 84 hours, the Croatian army recaptured over 10,000 square kilometers of occupied territory. It wasn't just a victory, it was a statement. The operation demonstrated a level of coordination, logistics, and tactical precision that stunned even NATO observers. That was the turning point. From that moment on, Croatia was no longer a nation merely trying to survive. It was a nation that could project strength, one that had earned its place at Europe's military table. The post-war years were about professionalization. The militias became brigades. Training centers were built. The chaotic wartime arsenal was replaced with structured doctrine and NATO standard organization. By the early 2000s, Croatia's forces were reshaped around Western models, merging the hard lessons of its own war with the professionalism of modern alliances. And that transformation didn't just prepare Croatia for peace, it prepared it for NATO. The Adriatic pivot, geography is power. Croatia's greatest strength isn't just its army, it's where it stands. Stretching along the Adriatic coast, Croatia sits at one of Europe's most strategic crossroads. To the north lies Central Europe, to the east, the Balkans, and to the south, the Mediterranean. It is NATO's natural bridge between continental Europe and the sea, a perfect position for logistics, naval access, and regional stability. The Adriatic, once a theater of Venetian fleets and Cold War tensions, is now NATO's southern lifeline. Through it flows trade, energy, and military movement, and Croatia, with its long coastline and deep water ports like Split, Šibenik, and Ploče, holds the keys. When Croatia joined NATO in 2009, it didn't just add territory to the alliance. It added reach. NATO's command network expanded southward, giving the alliance access to critical maritime routes and proximity to the Balkans, a region still marked by fragile peace and competing influences. This position also places Croatia at the heart of one of the 21st century's most important security dynamics, the contest between Western institutions and rising influence from the East. To the west, NATO and the EU. To the east, a resurgent Russia. And to the south, the growing reach of China through its Belt and Road investments. Croatia, more than almost any other Balkan state, is in the middle, and that's exactly what makes it so valuable. Its alignment with NATO and the EU makes it a reliable Western ally. But its understanding of the Balkans, of its politics, its cultures, and its complexities, makes it irreplaceable as a regional mediator. This dual role, as both a shield and a bridge, is what NATO values most. Croatia isn't just defending borders, it's stabilizing a region. That's why NATO has invested heavily in cooperation with Croatia's armed forces, integrating them into exercises, rapid deployment groups, and maritime operations across the Adriatic and Mediterranean. Croatia's special forces have served with distinction in Afghanistan and Iraq, while its naval and air units contribute to NATO's southern flank operations, securing trade routes and countering illegal trafficking. It's a quiet but vital role, one that rarely makes headlines but forms the backbone of NATO's deterrence strategy in southeastern Europe. The modern Croatian army, precision over size. Croatia's armed forces are small, around 15,000 active troops, supported by reserves and a professional defense structure. But what it lacks in size, it makes up for in specialization and modernization. After joining NATO, Croatia undertook one of the most comprehensive military reform programs in the region. The focus wasn't on building a massive army, it was on building a smart one. The Croatian army is now built for flexibility, rapid deployment, mobility, and interoperability with NATO systems. Its units can integrate seamlessly with US, German, or French forces, a capability few regional militaries possess. At the core of this modernization is Croatia's commitment to precision and adaptability. Its mechanized brigades, equipped with upgraded M84A4 tanks and Patria AMV armored vehicles, are trained for both conventional and hybrid warfare. The artillery corps, meanwhile, has incorporated digital fire control systems, increasing accuracy and reaction time. Croatia's special forces under the Special Operations Command (SOCOM) have become a regional model, trained in counterterrorism, mountain warfare, and maritime interdiction. They've operated alongside elite NATO units, earning a reputation for discipline and tactical skill. And then there's the Air Force, small but rapidly modernizing. Croatia has recently acquired Rafale multi-role fighters from France, a major leap forward in capability. These aircraft replace aging MiG-21s and bring Croatia into a new era of air power, one that ensures control of its skies and secures NATO's southern air corridor. At sea, the Croatian Navy plays a crucial role in Adriatic security. Its fleet of missile boats, coastal patrol craft, and mine countermeasure vessels protect not just Croatian waters, but NATO's maritime routes as well. But perhaps the most important transformation has been invisible: digitalization. The Croatian military is integrating cyber defense, surveillance systems, and advanced communication technologies into its command structure. These upgrades allow it to operate in real time with NATO's digital battlefield networks, essential in modern hybrid warfare, where data is as valuable as ammunition. Croatia may not field massive divisions, but it doesn't need to. It plays its role with surgical precision, a compact, professional, and interoperable army that amplifies NATO's power where it matters most. And behind all of this is a quiet doctrine, one that blends history, necessity, and modern strategy. Because for Croatia, defense isn't just about deterrence, it's about identity. The strategic crossroads, Croatia's role in Europe's security web. To understand why Croatia matters so much today, you have to look at the map, not of Europe but of Europe's vulnerabilities. The Balkans have always been the continent's pressure point. From the spark that ignited World War I in Sarajevo to the wars of the 1990s, this region has been where global fault lines meet. Ethnic divisions, energy routes, and competing foreign interests all collide here. And right at the heart of that crossroads sits Croatia, a nation that connects Central Europe to the Mediterranean, the EU to the Balkans, and NATO to the Adriatic. That location gives Croatia a strategic leverage far greater than its size. Its ports provide maritime access for NATO logistics, its airspace bridges the alliance's eastern and southern operations, and its land borders connect multiple fronts, from the Italian coast to the Western Balkans. This makes Croatia a stabilizer in a region where instability is the rule, not the exception. NATO planners understand this. Croatia is part of the alliance's enhanced forward presence, contributing to the deterrence mission in Eastern Europe, including rotations in Poland and the Baltics. It may not deploy massive numbers, but the symbolism matters. A Balkan nation that once survived war now stands on the front line of defending European peace. At home, Croatia has also become a logistical hub for NATO operations. Its bases, including Pliso Air Base near Zagreb and Split's naval installations, are critical for joint training, regional coordination, and rapid response to crises. Croatia's coastline gives NATO control of key maritime routes through the Adriatic and Mediterranean, a vital counterweight to growing Russian activity in the region. In a world where sea lanes are once again becoming geopolitical chessboards, Croatia's ports and naval assets serve as anchors for Allied presence. But geography isn't Croatia's only strength. Its real power lies in something harder to measure: trust. Croatia has built a reputation inside NATO as a dependable partner, reliable, disciplined, and politically stable. It doesn't just host exercises, it leads them. In multinational drills like Immediate Response and Adriatic Strike, Croatian forces coordinate with US, Italian, Slovenian, and Albanian troops, showcasing interoperability that only a handful of European militaries can match. In short, Croatia has positioned itself as both a frontline guardian and a bridge, the link between Western Europe's established powers and the still fragile Balkans. Balancing influence between NATO, the EU, and the Balkans. Croatia's value to the West isn't just military, it's political. Because in a region where history runs deep and divisions still linger, Croatia's stability has become the region's compass. After joining the EU in 2013, Croatia became the first ex-Yugoslav nation to fully integrate into both Western institutions, NATO and the European Union. That made it a model for others, proof that post-war nations could rise, reform, and rejoin the European family. But it also made Croatia a diplomatic heavyweight in the Balkans. Countries like Bosnia and Herzegovina, Serbia, and Montenegro now find themselves navigating between East and West, and Croatia, having walked that path itself, is both a mentor and a mediator. Zagreb's foreign policy reflects this dual mission: deepen its role within NATO and the EU, while maintaining dialogue with its non-aligned neighbors. In recent years, Croatia has taken active roles in shaping EU defense policy, from supporting the Permanent Structured Cooperation (PESCO) initiatives to advocating for stronger EU-NATO coordination. Yet at the same time, it hasn't forgotten its regional identity. Through forums like the Adriatic Charter and the Central European Defence Cooperation (CDC), Croatia helps guide defense collaboration among smaller European nations, fostering interoperability and stability where major powers can't always reach. This balancing act between integration and independence is what gives Croatia quiet influence. It isn't trying to dominate its neighbors, it's trying to connect them. But diplomacy alone doesn't secure peace in the Balkans, deterrence does. And that's where Croatia's evolving military capability plays a crucial role. With its modernization programs now bearing fruit, Croatia serves as a frontline deterrent against hybrid threats, from disinformation and cyber warfare to potential destabilization efforts in the region. Its intelligence sharing with NATO and the EU strengthens the alliance's ability to detect emerging crises before they spread. This combination, diplomacy, deterrence, and discipline, has turned Croatia into something few predicted 30 years ago: a regional anchor. And in a region still shadowed by unresolved tensions, that anchor keeps the Balkans tied firmly to the West. Because in the Balkans, credibility doesn't come from numbers. It comes from resilience. The power of neutrality, Serbia's future, and the next phase of the Balkan game. In 2025, Serbia stands at the crossroads of its future. EU membership remains a distant but open path. Russian support continues, but at a growing diplomatic cost. And Chinese investments are reshaping its infrastructure and its independence. Each road offers opportunity. Each carries risk. If Serbia leans too far west, it risks alienating Russia and losing its historical protector in the Kosovo dispute. If it leans too far east, it risks EU sanctions and isolation from European markets. And if it leans too hard on China, it risks debt dependency and strategic overreach. So instead, Serbia continues to do what it does best: walk the middle line. This strategy, sometimes called strategic hedging, is not just about buying time. It's about buying influence. Because the longer Serbia stays neutral, the more every power will invest in keeping it friendly. That's why the EU keeps offering financial aid. That's why Russia keeps offering energy deals. And that's why China keeps building railways. Belgrade has mastered the oldest lesson of Balkan politics: when you can't be the strongest, be the most essential. But Serbia's real power lies in something deeper: its identity. It sees itself as the last true independent actor in a region that's otherwise divided between blocs. A survivor of empires, sanctions, and wars, determined never to be anyone's satellite again. And that gives it a kind of soft power few notice but everyone feels. In Bosnia, Montenegro, and North Macedonia, ethnic Serbs look to Belgrade as a cultural center. In Russia, Serbia is seen as a loyal Slavic brother nation. In Europe, it's seen as a potential stabilizer, or spoiler, depending on which way it turns. That influence doesn't require armies or alliances. It requires patience, and Serbia has mastered patience. The world may see Serbia as small, but in the chessboard of the Balkans, it moves like a queen, unpredictable, multi-directional, and impossible to ignore. Because whoever wins Serbia, wins access to the heart of southeastern Europe. And that's why everyone suddenly wants Serbia on their side. The Balkan pivot. In the end, Serbia's power doesn't lie in conquest or wealth. It lies in its position, geographical, political, and psychological. It stands at the intersection of East and West, Orthodox and Catholic, democracy and autocracy. And instead of choosing one, it's chosen to balance all, a dangerous but brilliant game that has kept it relevant while others faded. Its leaders know that the 21st century isn't defined by who controls territory, but by who controls options. And right now, Serbia controls more options than almost any small state in Europe. It trades with the EU. It drills with Russia. It builds with China. And it negotiates with all. That is the new Balkan power, not domination but diplomacy. Not through noise but through nuance. And as global tensions rise, Serbia's quiet balancing act may soon decide more than just its own fate. It may decide the future of Europe's frontier, and whether the Balkans once again become the spark that changes the world. Because in every century there's a pivot, a place where empires meet, clash, and recalibrate. And in this century that pivot is Serbia. This is Doctrine of War, where we analyze how nations survive, adapt, and outsmart empires. If you enjoyed this breakdown of Serbia's grand strategy, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and join us next time as we explore how small nations shape the fate of great powers. Because in geopolitics, the most powerful moves often come from the smallest states.